Folks, evening all. Simon Brown here. As you're coming in, if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, if you could, there we go. Akbar wins, raise your hand. Well, that's probably because you're top of the list because it's alphabetical. Nonetheless, folks are coming in. Take that back. It's not alphabetical. And I'm being heard, so we are winning here. Excellent. My name is Simon Brown, joined as always with Njabulo and Nsibande. You find him, villagetrader.co.za. You find me, simonbrown.co.za. And you also find us on justonelap.com. Just a quick bit of housekeeping. I'm going to exit a little early from the session because I've got an interview with Marion Roberts at 6, but that's fine, and Njabulo will close it off. So let's run to what's happening and where we are. This is my ZAR account. This is the Standard Bank trade from 11 November that is still running. This thing just won't give up. Then I'm not stressed by that. So I've switched from the equity into the offshore indices. We'll touch on that in a moment. But this is just a good old fashioned. It was a breakout. My stop has moved to a point where it is ever so slightly in profit. But you can see my swap is starting to cost what, 96 bucks, approaching 100 Rand. Still less than my P&L, which is 387. My target P&L here will give me an almost 900 pay. Target is 146.50, and I'm letting this run. I'm leaving it to be as it goes. I'll move the stop loss. We had Telkom as well. Telkom went out at profit, although it just carried on going in many senses. But it's yeah, I'm comfortable with it. I'm going to leave this until such time as it either stops me out or hits the target. And then, as I said, I'll move the ZAR across into dollars. Talking of dollars, there are 0 positions right now. I had a bunch and I got stopped left, right, and center. So let's flip through some charts. Nikkei 225, Japan, bit of a turn down there. Nothing major. Let me just pull that up, the chat, so I can see what there. Graham, not a problem. Will do. So the Nikkei, and it hasn't given any trades. We'll wait. We want that 7 and 21 to cross. Nasdaq crossed, which was deeply exciting. But now I need a confirmation of a short trade. So the bar that crossed in was that one, was my red bar. And I need a close below that, which is about 12,800. At this point, it is down, but it isn't trading below that. I need a close below that. I will take the trade, or we wait and see if it then crosses and turns up. Nasdaq is looking weaker than others. For example, S&P crossed down, crossed up. So there was my exit trade. In fact, there was, I think, my exit, which is a close below 21. There was the 7 going below, which is a trigger, but not a confirmation. It fails, goes up. In fact, now it's saying there's a trigger for a buy. That fails. And now by points, it is saying a trigger for a short trade. This is a market which is trying to determine its next move. Not any surprises in that sense. It will work it out one way or the other. But for now, it is it's saying one thing, and then a day or two later, it's saying the next thing. And as a trend trader, that's going to happen. I'm waiting. I need a trend. I need a trigger. Confirmation is then either a higher close or a lower close, whether I'm looking at long or short. And when that happens, then we're in business and we're off to the races. Until then, it's just bouncing around and not telling us anything. Top 40, which traded at all-time highs today, but didn't close at all-time highs. It's just below. But again, nothing happening here for me. UK, same story. There's my short bar. It says go down. Doesn't confirm. Doesn't confirm. Now, today, it's saying, actually, you want to look for a long trade. So if it closes green tomorrow, Thursday, 4 March, then I will take that as a long entry and get into the trade. Remember, on the European indices, I'm trading the Eurostoxx 50 and then I'm trading the UK 100 because otherwise I start if I'm trading them all, then I end up in sort of 5 sub indices and the Eurostoxx, and I get duplicate of all. Sorry, I closed that. I shouldn't have. Let me open that up again. Asia being a drag. Yeah, India was up, and then, yeah, I mean, Asia at this point. So this trade stopped me. There was my stop. and then it did the horriblest thing ever. It just carried on going again. Well, that's the Eurostox 50. We'll see how that goes. The S&P stop, I was in profit about $10, $12. The Eurostox, I was in profit about $10, $12, maybe 20, couple of dollars, nothing terribly exciting. I got a trade on ASX. This was my entry all the way back here, and I got stopped. So it was a losing. So I got stopped at that point last week. So it was a modest loss, a couple of dollars. Then triggered a short. Nothing happened. It is still saying that I'm looking for a short trade, but I want to close below that candle. The problem I ran into with Australia and with Brazil was those horror time zones, and the fact that they are markets are closed at points. But what I need to be is smarter with it. And Njabulo was just saying to me, is almost in a sense I need to draw my own line in the sand, because Australia is 9 hours ahead of us. So their close is going to be what, about trying to do the math, about 1 o'clock in the morning, or there is no chance I'm going to be checking charts at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to hit that in sort of early morning when I'm up for my radio show. The flip side is Brazil, which is, I think, 7 or 8 hours behind us. So their close is happening again early morning our time, because they're ahead of us, we're behind. So that was some crinkles. But this was an entry, got in, got kicked out. China, not trading this because of the holiday, but then the holiday was over, and then truthfully, I missed it. That should have been the candle that goes me short. And my plan is to enter on the next one that goes down. So if that then gets weaker again, we'll jump into China. The holiday was confusing because it wasn't technically running. What am I looking for? Hong Kong, same story. Although Hong Kong is now also saying to me, time for shorts. We're seeing tons of sort of potential short trades, or 721 stopping or being stopped out, which raises the question, is this a market that is turning? Is this a market that wants to go down, whether it's 5 or 10%, or whether it's 20 or 30, whatever the case may be? And short answer is, what we're seeing here is not unusual. This is a market that at this point, and I'm talking markets sort of broadly the globe over, these are markets that are unsure. They're unsure of the next move. They what's happening with vaccines, pandemics, are we locking down, or what's the story? So we're going to see a lot of this sort of noise, a lot of sort of kicking in and then kicking out, etc. Nifty 50, which I can't trade because it's $1 a point, and my risk is just too insane unless I absolutely pull up the stop. So this technically would be a buy. Problem being is my stop is at, as price, my stop comes at 4880, which is $3,844, and I can't do a fraction. So I just can't do the trade. This is the trade I got into by mistake. I got some cash out of it. I'm taking that. I added it to capital rather than P&L. No, this is an Azar account. Let me try to do the numbers. 15. It comes in. I can't get my $40, which is what I'm looking for. $40, $600 is what I'm looking for. This is way more than my potential risk. So I would like to trade it, but I need fractions of it. I must actually check with red one and see why can't, particularly in an index that's running at 15,000. Why can't I have a nice little fraction there? And then the US 2000, which is the mid-cap index, I haven't had an entry or any trades into it. If I did have, I would have been stopped. At this point, it's another one that's sort of sideways for about the last month or so. I mean, there was back in early Feb was when it hit. It made some highs, but that was the sort of last strong move, and now very much just trending sideways and not going anywhere. Mohammed, you want to ask what's happening with gold? It's going down. I mean, is the flippant answer. I'm not trading gold. I have taken money on my gold stocks. This is just, and just from a chart. I mean, what can we see? We're seeing a high, a lower high, lower high. Just heading down, lower lows. Just keeps breaking support. If I drop in some longer moving averages, there's a 200 broken. There's a 50 broken. The 50 is below the 200, not looking good.
And we had that golden cross there.
Yeah, I mean, golden cross is everything. I think in the immediate, if I zoom out, we see some support coming around the 16, maybe 1680 level, and then lower. And, you know, from a fundamental perspective, the gold story is quite simple. Gold last year did what we want gold to do, right? When we worried about the world ending, people, when the crash is over, people rush to gold. It breaches 2000, makes an all-time high. But sitting here in 2021, you know, we're vaccines are rolling. We have vaccines. You know, news today that Merck's vaccine didn't work, so they're going to produce for Johnson and Johnson. In essence, you know, by the end of this year, early next year, the world will, all things equal, be back to normal. In which case, the investment case for gold has diminished, has largely disappeared. So, I mean, to me, gold, if there's a position here, that position is be short. I mean, absolutely. You know, this is not a stock to be excited about. Regan, going to dabble in commodities. Yeah, so I want to pull some commodities, have a look at them. I mean, on the JSE, I've got commodities all over the place. Sabania, I've got the Billiton, I've got the Satrix Resi. I am long commodities left, right, and center. But I take your point. Is some of the and if U.S. inflation being very good to it, weak dollar being very good to commodities, and I think the commodity bull run has a way to go. Commodities may be less, but the stocks who are still kind of catching up, I think, still got some way to go. So at this point, my only trade is Standard Bank, which is a legacy trade, waiting for stuff to happen. As soon as stuff does start to happen, I'll jump into that. But in the meantime, I'm getting lots of triggers, but no confirmations. Long or short, the chart will tell us. I don't have particularly a view on that. So that's it from my 5 cents. Njabulo, over to you with what's looking like a chunky P&L. You might not have been wanting to shout that, but you're going to show everyone. So it's looking good. So
yeah, the P&L is looking quite good. It was looking very much better in the morning.
Yeah, and I know we shouldn't be getting excited about P&L. I know we should be, you know, old hardened traders, but the truth is, like, it's lacquer.
Yeah, it always is. So quick one, from last week, you'd notice that the balance has gone up quite a bit, and that's not profits. That's new capital being added in, and that's, you know, the point about the series, trading a small account and increasing it accordingly over time. So I added about two and a half grand into the account. So yeah. So African Rainbow is still doing well. Huge red bearish engulfing candle looking scary. But if I bring back that 50-day exponential moving average, that's still, it was still, the stock is still trading above it. You know, last week we chatted about the box system that I'm trading, and particularly at any given point when I'm looking at a stock, I'm looking at 3 boxes. The box that it's currently in, the range that it's the stock is currently in, the range below it where I don't want the stock to be in. If it does, I want to be out of that position, and the box above it where I want the stock to actually go to, in which case I'll then add into my position. And at the moment, African Rainbow is not playing ball with that 303 level. Every time it gets there, it's like a graveyard in the sky. Next is Aspen. Aspen looking good. Broke through that 147 resistance, but it hasn't confirmed as yet. So I wanted to close above that 150 level. Perhaps tomorrow we'll get that, and I think I'll just put a limit order above that high there. I think it's a 52-week high, not 100%, not, yeah, just over a 52-day high. I'm going to put a buy limit order just above that high there, and then when it starts to run, it will just take me in, and this box will turn red, which means I don't want Aspen to come back to this 127, 150 box. BHP is still looking good. can bring back my box, my red box. Still looking good, waiting for the breakthrough, that 545 level, in which case I'll add into the position and turn this box red, um, and trail my stop accordingly behind me. So what I'm starting to notice is that, because I draw my boxes on a weekly chart, and then when I jump on a daily chart, the weekly boxes sort of divided into two in most cases. As you can see, like this one as well, it's divided into two. Um, and when you look at it in the weekly chart, it's just nice, one box looking good. But when you're looking at a daily chart, those boxes are divided into two, and it's something that perhaps I can only take positions in the lower box, and then once it get into a higher box, I'll start to be just to wait for the breakout to through to the next box. Capitec is struggling with that resistance level there, that trend line there, making lower lows, what looks like a bullish flag. It broke through the 200-day exponential moving average and then having a tough time breaking through it. So hopefully over the next couple of days it will break through and all will be great. So next is Coronation, looking quite lacquer, broke through that bullish flag on this current box, waiting for the breakthrough, that 52 Rand level. Perhaps if it closes above 53 Rand, I'll add into this position and trail my stop accordingly on the stock. I'm liking Coronation quite a bit. I first took it when it broke through the 38.44 box. Yeah, Coronation looking quite lacquer.
That was a trade we waited forever in, and it came and did what it promised to do.
Yeah. You know, when I look at the weekly charts, I notice that the longer a chart stays in a box, the better, because when it does break, it becomes a thing of beauty. Discovery looking good. Broke out of that bullish flag, came back to test it and also test the 200-day exponential moving average, which held quite well. I'm still trending higher, having a tough time with that 154 level. I'm looking for a breakthrough that, in which case I'll add into the position and trail my stop accordingly. Distel, actually, Distel got me a little bit excited recently. If I can remove that as well, because if I jump back into my weekly chart, the 30-day exponential moving average is very, very close from crossing this the 60-day, in which means what this means for me is now I can start to add into Distel. I've been holding Distel for quite some time now without being able to add. I could have added on that break there, could have added again on that break there, could have added again on this break there, but this nice bullish flag, waiting for it to break through, and then I'll add into Distel, put my stop was my 50-day, just to give it a little bit more room as a start around that 104 level. And at this point, it's really a risk-free trade, because my stop is 99 Rand, my entry was 72 Rand 50. Exaro have this nice falling wedge, retesting the support of the 169, what's the top of the range? 181, 169, 181 range. I'm looking for a breakthrough, that falling wedge, and then I'll add into the position and probably put my stop halfway through this 154, 168 box. And Foschini is still looking good, but I can't. Similarly with Distel, although Distel is starting to look like it's looking to allow me to take positions now. I still have to wait for these two to crosses yet, but I'm still looking very, very good on Foschini. And I entered Foschini on a bullish divergence pattern back when I was still just trading everything. Glencore looking good, looking quite lekker.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add as we break that 70 Rand odd level. Yeah, no. I'm going to trail my stop to 57 once we close above that 64 Rand level. And then I'm going to add into the position once we close above that 70 Rand level on Glencore and trail my stop to be below that pause there around 60 Rand on Glencore there. Impala Platts looking very, very nice. Broke yesterday, and this morning it gapped away from me, but I put a sneaky order around the 272 order. Perhaps should have put it even, should have been much sneakier. But
hindsight sneaky, dude.
Yeah. Unfortunately, thick markets won't allow me to trade in hindsight. So yeah, I'm now long on. I've added on my Impala trade, looking quite lekker. My stop is still far away from traffic. I will pull it closer once the stock establishes itself properly in that 260 300 box. That's a 40 Rand box, and that's quite some room. Mondi looking lekker. A nice bullish flag, nice break out of that bullish flag. But my risk on Mondi is still currently about 1.3%. So I'm gonna add 0.7% risk on this trade, put it back to 2%, adding to this position. Put my stop where it currently is because I moved it earlier before we started the webinar around at 356. Mondi looking quite like I'm liking Mondi quite a bit. Mr. Price started to trade back into the lower box, which is what I don't want. But my stops, I gave it a little bit more room with my stop. And the risk is much less than 2%. When it breaks back into that 180, 208 box, maybe if we can get a nice close above 180, I'll add into this position because we did have a break there, but that's not convincing. I want to close inside
it
the
didn't hold.
180 box. Yeah, it didn't hold very much. Multi-choice I entered yesterday because we had a nice break there, but it gapped on me, and which is why on Impala I opted to put a buy order, sneaker order, hoping that the market would come back to me. On multi-choice, I was a bit too eagerly, and it did come back to close the gap because it did gap up in the morning. It did come back to close the gap between yesterday, the prior day's close. Yeah, but I'm in multi-choice already, waiting for once we break through 190, rather 140, a close above 140, I'll add into the position and turn this box red.
Cool, gent. I got a duck off. I'm going to leave you in control. There's a question from Paul. If you picked that up, he's curious as to when you stick more cash in. But folks, we'll chat next week. Njabulo, we'll chat in the week.
Okay, cool. Cheers. Cheers. The site.
Cool. Cheers.
Paul. No, I don't adjust my position. So Paul is asking if I adjust my position size as I add new capital or through P&L. If I already have a position, I don't touch it. But if I get another signal, another entry, I now calculate my 2% based on the current balance. I always work out my risk or my 2% risk based on the current current balance. So the only change will happen as I take a new position, like in the case of multi-choice, as you would notice, normally it would have been around 100 Rand, 110, but now it's 154 because I've added more capital on that one. Let me pull up the chats. Next is Quilter. So Quilter looking good, looking to break that bullish flag, but I already have a position higher, so I don't want to buy. I'm not gonna, even if we had a nice break there, I wasn't gonna add to the position because um, I never add into a losing position. I only add into a winning position. Next one is Royal Bafokeng. And similarly with Coronation, when a stock stays in a range for a very long time, they tend to burst out when they do break. Didn't stay long in the 75.93 box, broke again yesterday. I added into the position, trailed my stop to 80.40. Just to, as a first, I want to give it a little bit more room. But, it's looking quite lekker. I entered back. My first entry was around 67 Rand, looking quite lekker. My first entry is almost chasing 90%, I think. Could be wrong, but chasing 90% in the green there. A trade, questions coming in the chat. On Signia, okay, I'll pull up the chart on Signia. So the 60 week, so Tyson is asking, Tyler is asking about the 60-week exponential moving average. So the 60-week and the 30-week exponential moving average, they give me direction of which side of the market I want to be in. So if the 30 is above the 60, I want to be long. And if the 30 is below the 60-week exponential moving average, I want to stay out of that stock because I don't trade on the short side. I'm going to look into City Lodge and EOH. I'm not too sure if we do have those on the platform, but I'll check that. I'll put, so Herman is asking where can you find the list of CFDs available to trade on Think Markets. They're on the Think Markets website, but I'll put the link on the spreadsheet for that comes out with the reminders and that sort of thing. Just trying to yeah, I'll put the link to that in that spreadsheet as well. Let me see if I can quickly find it. There you go. Yeah, so I'll put the link to it in the spreadsheet. I've also added the risk calculator also in the CFD sessions spreadsheet. It's in your emails that comes with reminders and that sort of thing. So yeah. Another open trade is the top 40. Made all-time highs this today, looking quite lekker, moving into the 62, 65 range. But I'm trading the top 40 on the lazy system. First trigger was there. There's the first trigger there, got confirmed with the close. Yeah, the first trigger, confirmation, another trigger, close above it, entered the position, also another trigger there, confirmation, added into the position. So I'm trading it on the laser system, waiting for a price to revert back to this 15-day exponential moving average, like it did here. And then if I get triggered, I'll take the position again. Next is ShopRite. ShopRite is doing what I don't want it to do, moving into a lower box. But it just, as you can see, this trend line is holding quite well. Let me remove these and put back the 200-day exponential moving average. Let me also just remove this line. As you can see, it's the 200-day exponential moving average is holding quite well as support. Did break it by a couple of cents, but well, let's see how it trades tomorrow. My stop loss is still well out of traffic, above that, just below that gap there. So yeah, I'm still holding on ShopRite, waiting for the breakthrough 150, and then I'll add into my position. Nsibande. Nsibande looking good. It had a nice break on the gap there. Kept back in the morning when I entered it. Nice bullish engulfing candle, trading well in these new, what is it? 7084 box, looking quite lekker. Okay, let me just see if there's questions. Only video. Okay, I'll make sure that when the email comes, it comes with the spreadsheet as well. But yeah, okay, I'll make sure that the link comes in with the and perhaps if let me just put it on the chat. Please let me know if you can get it on the chat, or it's only me that can see the chats. But yeah, I'll have it emailed out to all of you guys. Next is transaction capital, looking quite lekker. Nice ascending triangle on transaction capital, and once we get a close through, what is it, 27 rand, want to close above 27 rand, I'll add into the position, and put my stop around the 24 rand level and trail my stop accordingly. And because I've added more new capital, that 2% risk will be more, and my position size accordingly will be a bit more as well. And last but not least is Woolies. Woolies had a nice breakthrough into the new box. I entered the very next morning, looking quite lekker, you know, making looking quite good on this 47.55 box, looking quite good. And a stock that's of interest at the minute is Pepco. Where's Pepco? Pepco is looking good. Breaking into the new box, and nice bullish flag on it as well. However, nice bullish flag there. Put back these two. And when I jump back into the weekly charts, man, they're looking very, very good. They're very, very close from crossing. I'm about 13 points from crossing. The 30-week exponential moving average is 13 points away from crossing. So that looks very, very good. And once those two cross, I'll take the trade. Even if they don't cross as I'm taking the trade, I'm quite comfortable because I know that by the time the weeks end, they would have crossed. So that's kind of almost moot. And BitCop is another one that's was BitCop. It did trigger me, but I didn't take the trade. A nice break. BitCop had a nice break, but I have to wait for these two to turn. And the gap between these two is still quite huge. I think it's about 2 rand and some change. So not taking the trade at the minute. Perhaps if it breaks through 320, I'll then take the trade. But for now, this box is actually red. So I'm gonna maybe take the trade as we break through 320 if these two have crossed. And that's all the charts that I have today. If there aren't any questions coming in, I'm not seeing questions coming in. Cool. I'm gonna park it here. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I'll ensure the video will be up on YouTube on the Village Trader YouTube channel. Do subscribe if you haven't already. And then with the bell notification button so that you get notified when it's up. I'm gonna upload it a bit later tonight. Probably gonna get it up. Probably gonna be published first thing in the morning tomorrow. Shelly, you're very, very welcome, and thank you for hanging with me. And also, if you want alerts on the laser system on the Certrix 40, do subscribe on the Village Trader mailing list. If you go to the Village Trader homepage, there's a small subscription form there. If you can just add your details there, I'll bang you an email every time there's an event happening on the laser system on the Citrix 40. I'm also looking into including global indices as well, global ETFs rather, because I don't like continuous markets, but that's still in the pipeline. So yeah, I'm gonna park it. Seeing Marlo, you very, very welcome. Yeah, Marlo's mentioning something that I didn't shamelessly plug. Do follow me on TradingView as well. I do publish some good ideas on TradingView at Village Trader ZA on TradingView as well. Ladies and gents, not seeing any more questions. I'll park it here. Thank you for hanging with me. Check you next time on Follow the Trader. See you next week. Cheers.